Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. This video, this is kind of, I've never shared, I don't think, this kind of stuff with you guys. And I'm very open and I share, but this is going there, like with some stuff. But anyway, so this is gonna go. It kind of goes under the prom stories. So this is gonna be in volume 2 of our prom series. Though some of these things have happened in the hair world too, but we're going to just put this under the prom because this was a situation that was a prom. And this particular one actually involves not just a dress. The dress was the easy part, okay? It kind of involves infidelity. It involves the whole down low situation and a time when my quick words didn't get me out of the situation quickly. And then it also was, I want to say, a coming of age situation for me. Okay, let's just start and then you'll see where I'm going. Okay, so I'm doing my regular thing. I'm doing my prom gowns every year because I did a lot of them. At this time, I want to say I was probably maybe 24. So I always say when I was 24. I was 24 for so many years that it just didn't make sense. I had my best year, I think, was when I was like 24, and then I just was 24 forever. I just loved it, and I just lied about being 24. Just ridiculous. But anyway, I think I was actually about 24 years old. I thought I was hot shit at the time, It just was what it was. Anyway, so I'm doing proms. Now, let me say this. I started doing proms and doing prom gowns when I went to the prom in '89. So we're saying I'm probably at this time, I'm 24, so I went to prom at 17, so I'm like 7 years out. Never really paid attention to that they're literally kids under me. And it was always shocking to me how these kids would come, and a lot of times you never met their parents until lineup, the day of the lineup, whenever I would go up to the prom lineup or the promenade and actually, because they definitely always wanted you. Everybody wanted you to come to their lineup. And when you got there, that's when you would meet their parents and their family members and that kind of thing. It was weird to me that they were kind of doing these things on their own, because when I went to the prom, like my mom, was taking care of everything. And, as far as money wise, but then, it's a different time. You have these kids and they're working their way through it, really good. They're working their way through paying for their own stuff. I didn't understand that kind of life. My mom is kind of the same way I raised my kids. My kids they don't have enough responsibility, and I know that, but that's my fucking choice. I didn't have that kind of responsibility. My responsibility was to go to school and make decent grades and bring my ass home. I didn't have to work if I didn't want to work. So, I couldn't place that you had to buy your own prom gown. My school actually had an 11th grade prom. It was a junior prom. My date actually went to the prom at the junior prom. I decided to go to prom as a senior. And my mom and grandma footed the bill for what I needed, and actually her stuff too. Because like her mom said, hey, I already paid. I told you to go, you went then. I'm not paying for you to go again. And my parents understood that. And, my mom went ahead and paid for everything because that's what I wanted. So, no, I couldn't then, and I still don't fathom high school students having to pay for their own stuff, but that's a whole nother conversation for another time. So hold off on that, or y'all can go ahead down in the comments and we can talk about that. But I could do a whole video on that. But anyway, so long story short, a lot of times I wouldn't meet parents until promenade. Okay. So there's this particular couple, and they're cool, and I don't know them. So I don't know you. You know, you've heard my name thrown around. You've seen people's dresses I did, that kind of thing. So there's a couple, they come, and, the little guy, he's getting his little thing done. He's getting the vest, and she's getting the gown and all of that. And I'll leave them nameless. I never would do that because I'm not that kind. I'm there working one day, and I get a ring at the door. I go to the door. I don't have my kids or anything at this time. I'm just, like I said, I'm 24. So, and here it's the male side of this couple. And I'm saying, okay, so now naturally, I let him in. And he's, he comes in, whatever, it's no problem. And he's like, okay, I'm like, hey, what's going on? What did you, I'm thinking he's there to try to make like a change in his garment or, something that had to do with this prom. And he sits down and he's like, no, actually, I came to see you. And he's like, just talking. And he's like, I'm just like interested. And I'm like, interested in what? Now, it took a minute for it to actually click in what he was talking about, because I think, again, I'm kind of looking at them as kids, because I'm grown. I've been grown for quite a few years at this point, you know what I mean? But again, he's not looking at me, and I guess none of them did. It was like a shock. Like, maybe they're not looking at me as an adult, and when you look at us, I guess they do look just like me. I'm looking at him, and he's fine, little boy, and I hadn't paid him any attention until he started with this, and I'm saying, well, I guess you don't look at me as an adult. I'm sitting there clean face, and this child had a full goatee and beard. So I guess you're not looking at me as me being so much older than you. But he went on. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm using my quick way. I'm like, man, come on. Seriously, I'm too old for you. No, you're not too old for me. And I'm like, yeah, I am. He's like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 24. He's like, yeah, and I'm 19. You're not too old for me. I'm legal and this, and I'm like, okay. So as the conversation, I'm just going all the way around as far as the whole, I'm an adult, you're not an adult, kind of thing. But then it was getting real sticky because it's like, okay, my quick words it's not working. He said, well, why would you consider that you're an adult and I'm not an adult? I'm like, honey, you go to school every day. And he's like, well, what would be the difference if I went to college every day? Got a point. And I'm like, but that's different. You go to high school every day. What is your interest in me? What are you trying to get from me? And he's like, well, do I really have to go and tell you? Like, you want me to go through details and tell you? It was a mess. It was a whole mess. But I'm like, no. I mean, and it was like a coming of age of actually seeing how these kids, because they're kids. I don't give a fuck what he said. That motherfucker's a kid. If you go to high school and you live with your mother, you are a fucking kid, okay? Period. And we went through the thing of that. I literally had to go and have an adult conversation with him, as far as like he was an adult. It just was kind of crazy that he was 19, but I guess that kind of does make you an adult. And I guess he did deserve the full conversation of why I would not mess with him. One, you have a little girlfriend. They had a baby. First of all, I'm not even going to invite that into my world. I don't have that to do. I had a man of my own, and I didn't want that motherfucker. So, I don't want nobody else's trash. So I had to literally go through all of that with him. And he took it, really, really well. He wasn't backing down, though. He wasn't letting it go. And it really didn't get let go for quite a while. We went all the way through the rest of the fittings, and he still would try. It went through the prom, and he still had stuff to say. You know, he was cracking at me at the damn lineup. And we went into, like, later on, they fucking broke up. And he just showed up at my door, and it was a mess. It was a mess, but it was the whole thing. And when I said to him, I was being, I'm always real quick with my words. I was like, what is it you want from me? I'm like, come on, for real. You're like a kid to me. What you want me to help you pay for your pictures or something? He's like, I don't need you to pay for my pictures. And he's like, I got my own money. I got my own car. Only thing that you're talking about, I live with my mom. I do live with my mom, but I won't be living with my mom for long. Kids. These kids. This is crazy. So it's with me when I see the news and how the teachers are fucking the kids, it doesn't strike me strange. Especially when the teachers are 23, 24. The fucking students are 19. The fucking kids look older than the goddamn teachers. But then that goes back to your integrity. You are a teacher. They are a child under you. And you need to treat it as such. Now, I have friends where I talk to them and they're like, bitch, you're crazy. If he was good looking and this, that, and the other, I'm like, he's a kid. He's a fucking kid, a 19. What do you have in common at 24 with a 19-year-old kid? I mean, he did have everything that I had as opposed to, except for my house, and the mortgage. But other than that, the kid, he had everything I had. He even had a baby. I didn't have a baby. So he was damn near just as grown as I was. But at the end of the day, that motherfucker's a kid. He's a kid and probably had more, I'm sure he had more experience sexually than me because I still kind of agree. Like I said, I have a man, but he probably done been around the block more times than me with how smooth that motherfucker rolled up on me. He, I'm sure, had been around the block more times than I had. But a kid, nonetheless. Once you get back out of the bed and stand back up, what the fuck are y'all want to talk about? Nothing, because he's 19 and your ass is 24. Ridiculous. But yeah, it was quite messy. And that was just one time. There's one time that was sticking out in my head because of how long, it's like a year that this went on, that this child had this thing. And I mean, it was flattering. Don't get me wrong, that's flattering anytime anybody likes you and they carry it on that long. But then there's also that whole down low part of it. I don't need a partner that has a partner. I don't need a partner that has all these different hang-ups and you either like me Monday through Friday with the weekend included too. I can't do you liking me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't, that's just not my thing. It's not my thing. And again, that's a conversation for another time. So we could do a whole nother thing about James and his views of the down low man and all that. But yeah, it was just pretty shocking that doing a prom gown could turn into that whole thing. And like I said, it has happened more times than I even care to even explain. Amazing how these kids just are really... I don't think when I was like in high school, I would have never even thought to like approach an adult. But again, like I said, maybe you see me as an adult. So anyway, all right. So that's again another one of our prom stories. Ooh, messy, kind of uncomfortable talking about it, but whatever. It is what it is. It's what happened. It's my life. It's things that have happened. I've been approached inappropriately on many occasions, and I'm sure I'll probably explain more of them to you guys. But anyway, you can thumbs up or thumbs down. Definitely leave comments. I think we could probably get a really good rolling conversation about this. down there in them comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Was a very interesting situation. All right, guys. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will actually talk to you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.